Cardano and Circle have done something extremely impressive within the blockchain and crypto space, front-running a lot of other ecosystems as regulation gets ready to hit in the European region. As a part of today's video, I want to break down some interesting news about a brand new license obtained by Circle and exactly what Cardano is doing in order to stay up to date. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. As a part of today's video, we've got some breaking news when it comes to Circle being awarded the first ever license to issue stablecoins in the European region under the brand new Market in Crypto Assets or MiCA regulation. We've also got the Cardano Foundation partnering up with CCRI in order to begin to take advantage of Cardano's sustainability and the fact that we have to show how sustainable a blockchain is as a part of the new MiCA framework. So Cardano and the foundation front running a bunch of other ecosystems, making sure to get all of the reports and all of the facts about how sustainable Cardano is in order to meet these brand new regulations. Now, before we dive into the first piece of today's video, I want to highlight the news about Circle, and then we're going to jump into Cardano, the foundation, and then we're going to close out by highlighting USDM and how they're also able to ride a very similar wave with their partner and exchange, which is NBX in Europe, which is now also aiming to be MiCA regulatory compliant. That said, before we dive into all of the amazing content for today's video, I would appreciate you, if it's your first time stopping by here, if you would consider subscribing for all of the latest Cardano-based news. If you also appreciate content like this, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. And last but not least, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you want to take it a step further in terms of your support, consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Right now, you'll earn your traditional ADA rewards, which you can claim at any time. You'll also earn the Matera utility token, the Sarah utility token, as well as the Tokyo utility token by delegating to the Dapp Central stake pool. Keep in mind that those tokens are not eligible for claiming until those ISPOs have concluded. Links to everything that I've mentioned down below. Jumping right on in, we've got Circle getting the first ever stablecoin license under EU's or under the EU's MiCA crypto rules. Now, this is a pretty brief piece here, so I'm going to just quickly run through this, but it states, Circle has become the first global stablecoin issuer to comply with MiCA, the EU's new set of landmark crypto laws. Indeed, Circle's French entity is launching USDC and EURC, which is the fiat representation, right, of the euro as a stablecoin in EU, right, in compliance with their brand new framework. Now, at the very bottom, it states it also gives, or this opportunity also gives Circle a top position in grabbing the market share amongst the 27 nations trading, right, which include over 450 million people. This is especially beneficial for USDC against its competitor or rival, which is Tether or USDT. Now, let's dive into exactly what MiCA is for anybody who just isn't aware. Again, it's a regulatory framework or just a set of rules to govern how crypto assets and how crypto asset providers must operate in the European Union. Now, I've talked about this before. I'm not going to bang it here too much, but I want to quickly highlight 4 separate pieces that are really important in terms of what MiCA is aiming to establish. Number 1, it's aiming to provide a legal framework for crypto assets. Number 2, it's aiming to establish a set of rules for crypto asset services. It's also aiming to be the primary legislation for crypto companies to follow. And then last but not least, and most important here, it aims to establish specific rules for stablecoins. So that's exactly where Circle and Tether really come in, right? In addition to USDM. That said, let's talk a little bit more about Cardano. But before I do that, I want to highlight some of the pieces here surrounding sustainability and exactly what's expected when it comes to MiCA and how sustainable a blockchain must be in order for it to be qualified or in order for it to pass the MiCA regulations. So it states here, notably against a global backdrop of tightening sustainability standards and regulatory scrutiny, the final MiCA deal included amongst its previously agreed provisions, a defined commitment to implementation of crypto asset specific sustainability disclosures. So that's exactly what the Cardano Foundation has just got done working with CCRI with, is to basically provide a report proving how sustainable Cardano is. Now, this makes the EU the first geography globally that will have binding sustainability disclosure requirements applied to providers of crypto asset services. So really good to see that people are finally taking crypto more seriously, and they're really trying to up the standard when it comes to sustainability. Now, when we take a look at sustainability, we typically have proof of stake, which is a lot more energy efficient than proof of work. I'm going to compare Bitcoin and Cardano here in just a moment. Now, moving over, we've got the CF, right, who's now obviously caught wind of MiCA, and they've jumped the gun here when it comes to sustainability metrics for Cardano. So it reads here, we've teamed up with CCRI to release MiCA compliant sustainability indicators for the Cardano network. Now, this has been done 6 months ahead of schedule. The CF has been killing it here in the past couple of months, right? A lot of partnerships, a lot of opportunities, and this is just one of those many. Now, this initiative ensures regulatory compliance, transparency, and highlights the sustainability of the Cardano blockchain with a fully dedicated article linked down below. Now, I'm only going to read about 1 or 2 pieces here, very, very brief. But if you do want to find out more about the full report, it is available. I'll leave the link to it down below as always. But this breaks down all of the different metrics, all of the scores, and exactly how they've come to those conclusions. Now, reading the blurb here, it states the Cardano Foundation and CCRI announced the release of the MiCA compliant sustainability indicators for the Cardano ecosystem. This engagement addresses the requirements set forth by the upcoming MiCA regulations in the European Union, which mandates disclosure of certain sustainability indicators by issuers and by the service providers for crypto assets. Now, at the very bottom, it highlights here the proof of stake consensus and some of the highlights that are mentioned in the fully dedicated report. Now, the report that was published earlier today includes an extensive methodology, description, and the results of the assessment. This initiative underscores the commitment of the Cardano Layer 1 to sustainability and regulatory compliance. Now, it breaks down here the difference between proof of work and proof of stake. Again, Cardano being proof of stake, it's a lot more energy efficient. And then it also highlights the electric consumption per year for Cardano. Now, I've got a brief graphic I want to share here, which basically highlights the energy consumption per year for Cardano compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's crazy here is that this is 3 years old, and the transaction fees 3 years ago were set at 0.178 or about 21 cents, which I think it's still at that current value. Crazy to think that so much time has gone by. Now, that aside, Cardano compared to Bitcoin, Cardano is 150,000 times more energy efficient than Bitcoin based off of these numbers again from 3 years ago. And then comparing Cardano to ETH, it's 28,000 times more efficient than ETH. So again, you guys do with that what you will. Now, what does this mean for Cardano generally speaking? Well, Cardano's fiat-backed stablecoin, also known as USDM, which is now being worked on by Moneta, no longer Mihen or Mehen. They've been partnering, or they've already partnered with one of the biggest crypto exchanges in Europe, which is NBX. I believe they're out of Norway. And I've actually had the NBX team here on the channel to discuss what they offer and what this brand new partnership will entail, right? So they're going to be the first ever stablecoin issuer for USDM in Europe. What this basically means is that people in Europe can basically connect their bank account to the USDM protocol, and they can use their own fiat, add that to the treasury, and in return, they'll receive the USDM token in Europe. Right now, the only way that you can actually mint USDM is by being a participant within, I believe, one of the 18 states in the United States. Now, they're working to also become more regulatory compliant in all of the states, but it's good to see that they're working across multiple different areas. Now, to that end, in their last monthly newsletter, they also talked about expanding into Asia, as well as the Middle East and even Australia. So again, USDM is on a roll. And if I take a quick look here at the Charlie 3 dev feed, we've got over $3.5 million worth of the fiat-backed stablecoin now available in the ecosystem. So things are finally beginning to pick up. And I think that USDM can definitely ride a little bit of the wave here that Circle is riding, being the first ever stablecoin issuer in such a brand new and fresh area. Now, let's quickly break down this piece here, and then I want to close out by highlighting some potential advantages when it comes to being a first mover in this particular instance. Again, with USDM having the opportunity to be the first ever Cardano stablecoin to be minted in Europe. So it states here, USDM has proudly joined forces with NBX, bringing fiat-backed stablecoins to the EU. This alliance integrates the financial expertise of both entities and brings USDM to the European Union in full compliance with current e-money regulations, as well as the upcoming markets in crypto assets or MiCA regulatory framework. This ensures USDM's commitment to being a regulated, licensed, and globally recognized stablecoin provider, setting the standard for exemplary regulatory compliance and transparency. Now, what's crazy here, and I want to just quickly highlight this piece, but it's the portion that basically highlights that right now they're in compliance with all of the existing e-money regulations, but they're also aiming to be regulatory compliant for the upcoming MiCA framework. Now, what's also interesting is that NBX already has their e-money license in Europe. This basically means that they can operate as a crypto service. They can basically custody funds, they can move funds around, they can send and receive funds, etc. So they've already been set up in a really, really good position. And once they're able to get all of the regulatory blessings for MiCA, they'll be the first to be able to mint USDM in Europe. So huge opportunity here. Now I want to close out by just quickly touching on some benefits by being a first mover. And I would just say the first is just the market share, right? So being first mover, you've got no competitors, therefore meaning that whatever liquidity is going to be going into a stablecoin, people have no other option but to put it in yours. In addition, right, there's also benefits when it comes to trust building. The fact that we've already seen the Cardano Foundation being proactive and hopefully the USDM team being able to piggyback off of their sustainability metrics puts us in a really good position to be a trusted stablecoin in the European region. Third, we've got brand recognition. So again, as you're building trust, as you're launching as an early adopter, you're able to build a sense of recognition. And as you build that recognition, you're also able to create a network effect. This basically means that anybody who's using USDM and has a good experience talks about it, therefore getting more people to buy into USDM, therefore also having a good experience, and therefore continuing to talk about it. So sort of like a flywheel or snowball effect. And then last but not least, think about partnership opportunities, right? So if you're the first ever stablecoin issuer, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of other projects that see that as an opportunity, right, to onboard or to at least partner up with you to, assist in liquidity provision, whatever the case is, which obviously becomes a benefit to the stablecoin issuer. So different ways to go about partnerships, but I want to highlight some of the benefits that USDM as well as Circle pose to gain as some of the first ever stablecoin issuers in a brand new region. Now, keep in mind, they do have stablecoins already. It's just that after 2025, when MiCA goes into effect, any stablecoin issuer, in order for them to remain an issuer, they have to become regulatory compliant. So really good to see that the Cardano Foundation is thinking 2 steps ahead of the competition. That'll do it here for today's video. I hope you guys found this to be helpful. If you did, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me or just want to share your opinion down below, then make sure to leave a comment down there as well. As always, I will see you guys in the next video.